Hey dudes, my name is Riyards and welcome back to another country video. And in this video, you will find out how expensive is Athens in Greece. I have not yet been to Greece or Athens, but it is on my list in the future because it's warm there and I love visiting places that have historical sites and buildings. And I believe that in some ways it's very similar to Rome, and I just loved Rome, so I want to go to Greece now. So why Athens? Supposedly Greece has one of the lowest living costs in Europe. Plus, it's warm there and sunny all year round. The temperatures never go below 10 degrees, so that means no snow. Ever. But I'm also interested to see the places you want to live in because mostly I make these videos for you. So leave a comment with which city you want me to talk about next. Athens is the capital and the largest city in Greece, and the urban area has over 3 million people living there. That is twice as many people living in one metropolitan city as in whole Latvia. Just so you know, Greece is part of European Union and their national currency is euros. So for this video, I'm just gonna leave it in euros. But if you do prefer pounds or dollars, just leave it in the comment section as well. Nothing really changes, the concept stays the same. In this video, you will find out the prices for food, rent and utilities, public transport, jobs and salaries. I will also talk about leisure time activities and their costs. And since I want to make these videos a bit longer, I will also include a fun or interesting fact about Athens in the end of this video. Plus, just because that segment was so welcomed, I will also include a new segment about higher education and its costs. Let's not waste any of your time and start talking about Greek foods. As I mentioned before, I have not yet had a chance to try authentic Greek foods, but when I was in Turkey, I tried different dishes and a lot of them were very similar to Greek foods. Now, I know you two countries take it very personally about the origins of your food, and I'm not trying to start a fight here. All I'm trying to say is the food was delicious. Some of you guys probably are vegans or vegetarians, and I don't exclude you guys. So I did my research, and yes, Athens and Greece also have tons of wonderful restaurants that they will serve you beautiful vegan and vegetarian dishes. If you enjoy eating out, Athens is relatively cheaper than Rome or Paris, but not as cheap as some might expect it to be. Breakfast will cost you from 5 to 7 euros, dinner will be from 9 to 14 euros in inexpensive restaurants, but as usual, sitting down in touristy areas, you will have to pay much more than that. McDonald's meals range from 5 to 8 euros, and if you want to have drinks with your meals like soft drinks or coffee, those are from 2 to 3 euros. And beer or wine usually is 3 to 7 euros. Groceries in stores are relatively cheap as well. A pack of ciggies will cost you about a fiver, one bottle of beer will be about €1, and weirdly enough, Athens doesn't have overly cheap wine. I would assume that just like in Rome and Malta and Barcelona, wine would be overly cheap in Athens as well. But it isn't. A bottle of wine starts from 6 euros in Athens, which I know it's already quite cheap, right? But I like to take it to the next level and be even cheaper than that. Also, the famous German supermarket chain Lidl has a large number of stores in Greece. So that means you pretty much don't have to pay for foods in Athens if you shop in Lidl. Also, at this point, I think Lidl should start paying me for how many times I've praised them in my videos. But what can I do? I'm a cheap guy with a Jewish nose and I enjoy great deals. And now we're moving on to renting costs. One bedroom flat in Athens city center will start from 250 euros and the fancier flats will be about 500 euros, which to me seems quite unbelievable. There isn't a city in UK that you could rent an apartment in city center for 250 pounds. I mean, you couldn't even rent a box under the bridge for 250 pounds here. Renting a one-bedroom flat outside Athens city center is gonna be a little bit cheaper, and the flats start from 200 euros per month and up to 400 euros per month. But then you should also consider traveling costs, especially if you're gonna work in the city center, which is quite likely because the most of the jobs are in city center. Of course, you could find it even cheaper or more expensive. These are just average prices for average flats that are not complete trash and are also not made out of gold. I mean, my flat is trash and I pay twice as much. Anyways, moving on. Also add utility costs which range from 90 to 220 euros, and the best possible internet will cost you about 50 euros. I mean, it's not gonna be best possible in Europe, but it's probably not gonna be as bad as here in UK. Similar to Portuguese TV, Greek TV is free to view, but you will have to pay a small Greece TV license fee that will be automatically included in your electricity bill. But how small? Nobody knows. After all that, also include that the overnight stay tax was introduced by Greek Ministry of Tourism with the aim of driving revenue so that they could help cut country's debt. The fee runs between 50 cents and 4 euros per night based on the official rating of the accommodation booked, and the guests are required to pay the tax at the check-in. So for now it seems like the food prices are good, the apartments are rather cheap, but are they also getting a lot of money? Before we get into the money part, I want to quickly talk about public transport and its costs. The Athens public transportation system offers you a variety of different routes combining different means of public transport like buses, trams, metro, trolley buses, and railway. With a €1.40 ticket, you can move around the city between different public transports within 90 minutes. And that's what I love about developed cities. The same was in Rome and Malta. Everything's connected, simple, and easy to use. You would think that UK is such a developed nation, but their public transport is such a fucking mess. Nothing's connected, nothing is easy, and nothing is simple. Of course, Athens also has taxis, and even better, they have Uber. And that means that you most probably won't get scammed using their local taxis, which happens pretty much in any country as a foreigner if you try to use their taxis. And now introducing the newest segment of these episodes, higher education and its costs. I will talk about different cities and different countries, but today we're starting with Greece. For the first cycle studies, the bachelor degree studies, European Union citizens do not have to pay any fees in any public colleges or universities in Greece. However, some EU students might need to pay for master degree programs, but they can also apply to get at least their textbooks free of charge. If you do not hold the EU student status, you might need to pay some fees just to cover your study place in the university or college. In general, non-EU students usually pay about 1,500 euros per year for their studies, but that also does include your textbooks. For reference, I can tell you that I paid about 10,000 euros for my bachelor's degree in Estonia, and that means that was pretty much twice as much as in Greece. Plus, they don't give shit if you're from EU or not. Everybody pays in Estonia. So we found out all the prices, but how much money can you make? Let's talk about jobs and salaries in Athens. Just like in most countries in the Eurozone, Greece also has their national minimum wage policy. The minimum salary in Athens and Greece at the moment is 683 euros and 76 cents per month, and that is 8,206 euros per year, taking into account 12 payments per year. The minimum salary applies to the whole country, and at the moment it is lower than in Spain and in Slovenia. The Greek crisis reflected directly into the salaries in Athens. Just a couple of years ago, Greece had the minimum salary of 800 euros per month, but the economic conditions forced the government to reduce the national minimum salary. And if you're still here, let's talk about leisure time activities and its cost. Your typical gym will cost you about 25 euros, but if you're really frugal, you can go as low as 8 euros per month for your gym membership. And the cinema tickets will cost you about 8 euros per person. But who wants to sit in the cinema in a city as beautiful as... which country I'm talking about? Athens. Just kidding. Athens is full of beautiful architecture and beautiful gardens that you can just spend days exploring and having a wonderful time. Ancient ruins and historic sites are all over the place. So if you're interested in history and culture, Athens is the perfect place for you. And the fun fact of the day is, famous as a philosopher, scholar, mathematician, Plato was Athens' most influential teacher. Plato was also responsible for creating the Academy, the first institute of higher learning in the Western world, making Athens the home of the first university. Okay, it's not a super fun fact, but it's still interesting, right? No? Okay. That's it for today's video. If you think that some of the information is incorrect, correct me in the comment section. And now tell me, after watching this video, would you be interested in moving to Greece or Athens or not? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it any useful, leave a like. And if you want to see any more of my country videos, I'll leave a playlist of them right here. And if you want to see any of my future videos, you can subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!